things that God has impregnated us with because we don't live in the finish. It's simply because why does a mother want abortion? Because she considers more the problem and the negative things and the negative impact far greater than the blessing that that thing will give to you. Listen, if you're pregnant and it's by mistake, do not kill your baby. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you sit there and you go, oh, well, what are they going to say? What are they going to say? All the things but that will stop me from this and that will stop me from this. Have the baby and face those circumstances or the consequences with God, and you can overcome those things. So in God, we give up of what God has impregnated us with because we just see more of the problem rather than the blessing. If God has impregnated you with a vision, do not abort the vision before it's before the due time. Let it come out nicely. Let it come out naturally. Let it be born naturally. If God said to you that, put something in your heart about marriage and children, or the one that you've been praying for, listen, wait. If God says not now, but a couple of years' time, wait. Do not abort that mission, because the longer you wait, as God will and determine, it is going to be good for you. Because we're governed by different laws and different principles and different timing, and life is actually very good. So please do not abort the mission. Why do we abort the mission so naturally in worldly things? Your reasons may vary, but in God we also do the same thing. God says this, and we were tired of waiting, or we see more of a burden in it, and we just quit. The last one is we want to avoid being redundant before God. That is why living in the finish will always allow us to be used by God all the time. It's almost like God will always be looking to you to use you. Any new initiatives from heaven, God's first choice will always be you, because you stay current with Him. But if you don't stay current with God, the only thing that will happen to you, you become redundant in God. You still be around, but there is no more. You got no life, no passion, no future. There's just no inspiration. There's nothing coming out of you, because you are not staying in touch or abreast with the Spirit, current with Him. And this is the thing that we're trying to avoid. And I want to say this to all of us here today in this church. Please, guys, if you feel like you're becoming a little bit redundant in the Spirit, push yourselves to the right place. Because we can be here again in the church and be made redundant in God. And you know what happened when you're made redundant? They give you a paycheck and they say to you, goodbye, don't come back. We don't want you anymore. And God can actually reject us if we do not press in and stay abreast with Him. And we can still be around and not be used by God because we have made ourselves redundant before God. Is that alright? Well, it's not alright to be made redundant, but please do your best to stay current. Say this with me: I must stay current with God. Go to the next slide. Isaiah 46 verse 9 there to 11. It also talks about, just write this down very quickly because we have other things that we want to cover. The principles from Isaiah 46. The end is made known from the beginning. When God does something inside of you, He will tell you the end from the beginning. So basically what I'm trying to say is the Omega is revealed at the Alpha. The Omega is revealed at the Alpha. When God comes to you, He will start the Alpha, but He will also reveal the Omega at the Alpha. So get away from walking blindly in God, because God doesn't work like that. He doesn't give you something and then just leave you in the dark, but He will give you an indication of where you're going. The Omega is made known at the Alpha. Point number 2, God's purpose will stand. And if you read the scripture, it says God was saying, my purpose will stand. And that's the principle of replacement. If you could just add that on to your notes. That is the principle of replacement. That if you do not cooperate with God, even though He has a purpose with you, God can replace you. A principle of replacement. Can I say this? And please don't get angry with me for saying this, and don't think that I'm being mean and harsh. But I've seen the Lord replaces a lot of people because they just don't stay in cooperation with Him. I've seen men of God rises and fall. I've seen churches rises and disappear. I've seen Christians come and go. And I've seen God replacing people over and over and over and over and over. Why? Because we can start off in God and we can understand His purpose. He's the Alpha, the Omega of a thing God has given to us. But if we don't stay abreast with God, but we begin to do the things that I said to you, issues that we're trying to eliminate, if we are in those issues, then you are basically finding yourself moving away where God will have to replace you with somebody else. Replace you with somebody else. So, that should make you take God a bit more seriously, yes? That should make you kick yourself a little bit more. Kick yourself up the butt a little bit more. Smack your forehead a little bit more, because, listen to this, the children of Israel, 3 million came out of Egypt, only 2 million in the promised land. And guess what happened? God replaces all of those people with the children that they gave birth to in the wilderness. God is a mean God. No, He's not a mean God. His purpose, once He's declared, once He declared His purpose, and once He declares it over you, He expects you to finish it. But if you don't finish it, God will raise up somebody else in your place. The issue of replacement. We can be replaced because we have come to a place where we lack the hunger, the passion, the drive. Again, if you live in the finish, you will avoid that in a very powerful way. The next point, that principle again from Isaiah, what He has planned, He will do, God, because God is like that. If God says something, He's going to do it. Did you know God is not a liar? If God says to you, this woman is going to be your wife, and when God says that, He is going to make that happen. Now, the question is, will you, the recipient, cooperate with God until that thing He speaks comes to pass? That's the question. That's the question. The question is, Shakespeare says, to be or not to be. That's the question. Or, do you understand what I'm saying? When He says something, listen, all the stuff that He's spoken to me about this church and about the international ministry that we have, Breakthrough